Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Beyer. I'm the Director of Platform Services here at KGL PubFactory. And together with Stuart Maxwell from Scholarly IQ, a longtime partner of ours, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about analytics and things that you might not be doing with your analytics, especially in light of the open access era. So historically, um, really being able to provide counter reports and a sushi API to those counter reports has been, the absolute standard, the low bar that you needed to be able to do across the board. Super important for your academic libraries. But it turns out that repository of usage data really holds a trove of incredibly important information that you really should want to delve into. And we're going to give you some ideas here for how things you might be doing with it. First of all, there's some obvious business opportunities embedded in that data. You can look at your global and regional usage, compare it with your actual subscribers to institutions. That can give you pointers for where you might want to focus your sales efforts. You can look at your subscribed institutions at the turnaway data. That's an obvious opportunity for upselling. You have existing clients that are proven subscribers but are trying to access content that they don't have access to. And finally, pay attention to your low usage institutions, because of course they are at, there's a potential for them to not renew in the next renewal cycle. So keeping an eye on them is super important. And then of course, there's a lot of information that your editorial staff can really make use of. If you can surface the metadata associated with the content in coordination with the usage data. So if you can start looking at trends in the data by keywords and subjects and collections and content types, you can really start to see how your users are using your content and what's trending, where things are going, and this can be fed back to the editorial side of the business. And then, of course, there's your open access content. And on the surface, it seems like this should be much easier. You don't have subscribers. You're putting it out there, and there are no paywalls. It should be much easier. But of course, things are never quite so easy. If you're a journal publisher and you're entering into transformative agreements, if you have transformative journals, there are reporting requirements that you need to be really on top of. In general, you usually need to be able to monitor and show that the percentage increase of open access content is increasing at least 5% in absolute terms and 15% in relative terms year over year. And you need to be able to then report that data back, usually on the site. And then you should also be looking very carefully at funder requirements. So for your authors that are, get funding, what are the requirements those funders are putting on the content? Because oftentimes those requirements require you to combine both your usage data with your production and editorial data, and then put together reports in one or another format, and again, make them available. So you need to be really on top of those requirements and put the operations in place to be able to manage that. And then finally, with open access content, really the whole impetus for the movement was to increase the impact of the content. So how can you do that? One thing that you can do is to trace your usage back. So it's all unauthenticated usage, but can you trace it back to to institutions? It turns out there are tools to allow you to do that, and that can be really helpful for showing the impact that your content is having. You can also compare the distribution, regionally or in other ways, of your open access usage compared to your subscription usage. Again, you can show ways in which that content is getting accessed more broadly. And then finally, a thing that we're really interested in pursuing in the future is taking this content and using it as a predictive tool, using it as a to be able to take new content and compare it with the historic trends you've got embedded in this data to try to predict how new content would do. So hopefully we've given you some food for thought and things that you might think about doing with your usage data. Thank you very much for watching.